Hello, YouTube. Today we are going over Kraven, our Hunter-Seeker Moze. And the main idea of this build is to be using the Hunter-Seeker as if it's just a grenade build. So with that, let's go ahead and get into the build. We are using the Guardian Angel with While Terrified, deals 75% bonus cryo damage. A Face Puncher for if we are a little bit further away from enemies, so that we can proc the melee attacks, have a 25% chance to apply terror to yourself that we are running on our Hunter-Seekers. The other thing we'll be using to proc terror is the Spark Plug. Static Charge. I have a Plague Bearer on here for if enemies are a little further away and we need to get damage to them. And as usual, for 5 for your life, I like to use a Free Radical. We run different versions of the Old God depending on what version of the Hunter-Seeker we're running. Typically, I like to run the Cryo version. However, the other versions are really good if you want to do element matching instead of just cryo damage. The Old God is going to give you a bonus to whatever damage you're using as long as you match it. The anointment we're using is the While Terrified gain damage and fire rate, and that does come across as weapon damage, which benefits our Hunter-Seeker. So of course we're using the Mitosis, as that's the best roll you can get on your Hunter-Seeker. And as previously mentioned, we run the melee attacks have a 25% chance to apply terror to yourself. I did a couple of tests on different comms to use, but overall I just found that because we're not reloading our weapon, just getting that extra corrosive damage was really nice, because the Hunter-Seeker goes by weapon damage. So since it goes by weapon damage, then we can take advantage of the green monster to add corrosive damage to our Hunter-Seekers and just overall boost our damage. And like I was saying, we use the Spark Plug Static Charge to proc our terror for melee. I like to go with the extra cryo damage, melee damage, and area of effect on passives, but really the biggest ones there are going to be the area of effect, and whatever element you're using, just make sure you're matching that element. With that, guys, let's go ahead and get into the skill tree. So we're running 5 and Fire in the Skagsden for the extra incendiary damage, 3 in Means of Destruction, so that we have a chance of getting our grenades back whenever we are getting splash damage dealt, 5 in Torque Cross Promo for the extra splash damage and splash damage radius, 5 in Stainless Steel Bear for the increase in fuel, armor, and the damage to Iron Cub, 3 in Pull the Holy Pin so that our grenades can crit, 1 in Vampire for the health steal, so that we can get our health back up, 3 in Why Can't I Carry All These Grenades, and combining that with the 7 we get on our mods brings us up to a total of 23 grenades to the last, so that we can throw grenades while we are in Fight for Your Life, and of course Short Fuse. We didn't pick up anything in Red Tree, and that was mainly so that we could max out Purple Tree and Blue Tree. 4 in Cloud of Lead for the extra incendiary damage, 1 in Bear for the extra cub damage, 3 in Stoke the Embers for the extra incendiary damage, 1 in Redistribution, and that's mainly just for like when we are using our Plague Bearer or our Face Puncher and we just want to make sure we have a little bit extra ammo regeneration, 1 in Scrappy for the extra weapon damage, 5 in Scorching RPMs for the extra fire rate and crit hit damage, and it also helps Iron Bear out a little bit with damage. And by having 5 in our comm, we are getting up to extra 40% in that critical hit damage. And 1 in Specialist Bear for the extra bear damage. Pick up 3 in Big Surplus so that we can deal a little bit of extra damage whenever Cub is down. 4 in Really Big Guns for the extra damage for Bear. 5 in biofuel, 3 in double time for the extra movement speed, 3 in explosive fury for the extra effect chance and damage, 1 in never going to give you up for a little bit of fuel return, 5 in nitro-vanadium engines for the extra fuel amount and cooldown percentage, 1 in limit break for the cooldown rate, 1 in superior firepower for the extra effect damage, and 1 in running on fumes, so that whenever we ignite an enemy, whenever bear is down, we have a chance of not consuming, or whenever bear is up, we have a chance of not consuming any fuel. Now, with all of my builds, I do like to point out that I do have all of the perks in the Guardian rank. So if you don't have Hollow Point and you don't have Groundbreaker, you are going to see a difference in your damage, just because when those do go off, they deal some pretty crazy damage. The other big thing with this build is because it is a grenade Moze build, we do want to make sure that we are running Mayhem 10, specifically for More Than Okay Boomer, which will not so much the grenade damage on the Hunter Seeker, but it will give enemies a chance to drop grenade ammo, meaning that we can make sure we have grenades more often. Now with Mayhem 10, I do prefer to run Postmortem, and the medium and hard modifiers honestly don't really matter. If you really want to go for one, I would advise going for Healy Avenger here. And Laser Fair, while it can be annoying if it drops a cryo, is really nice to get a revive off of if you don't have another enemy to kill. Now this will be in the Discord and the save files, so if you are on PC and you want to pick up the file for this so you can have some fun, there will be a link to the Discord in the description box down below. I hope you enjoyed the build. If you guys have anything certain that you would like to see in the future, let me know. And with that, guys, I've been your local sassy SwinLaw. Stay classy, Pandora.